In studio. Thanks very much for joining us, Mzwandile.
Thank you very much.
Good stuff. So yesterday, Jimmy Manyi gave his testimony, which he insisted on giving. I mean, I didn't get to catch much of it, but one of the things that I kept on hearing from people was that he sounded quite defensive through it. What was your observation of his testimony?
Well, I wouldn't say defensive because, remember, he was not cross-examined. It was just the opportunity for him to put his version. So basically, one of perhaps, if you're talking about being defensive, his version arose from the fact that he had been fingered by Pumla Williams. I mean, he says he then went there to try to prove a point that when he got to GCIS and everything that he was doing there, he was stopping what he called massive corruption. I mean, he even likened it to mini VBS. So he then had documents, for example, where he said he had to stop a 26 million rand corruption because Treasury, what Treasury does, according to him, is that if there is an invoice that is R1 million or above, so then they flag it. But he says he found them actually splitting the invoices. So they'll probably pay 750,000 so that Treasury wouldn't flag it, and then but they'll be paying a number of invoices. And then he says that was Pumla Williams at the center of it all. He also spoke about the 64 million rand, which he says it was awarded, but there was no work done. So, and then he says Treasury was not actually enthusiastic about doing anything about it. It will be very interesting, Nombo, because remember that he got to give his evidence yesterday. There was no cross-examination, but his day is also still coming on the 23rd. I mean, even the legal rep for the commission, Vincent Maleka, did indicate that on the 23rd, they would be able then to have the opportunity to then speak to him. And some of those questions will be asked, and his version will also be tested.
Let's move on from him and just touch on Barbara Hogan very quickly. You did give us some observations yesterday, but what were the key themes that came out of her testimony? Because it really was quite damning.
It is. Basically what Barbara Hogan did was that he painted a picture of the SOEs really that are in trouble insofar as their governance and the running is concerned. She basically said there is so much interference, and then she pointed the interference at the former head of state and of course her colleagues and the members in the tripartite alliance. That is why when she spoke about Transnet and when she spoke about ESCOM, so those individuals where certain people wanted certain people, so they wouldn't budge on that one. So I think the thread of her evidence was that there needs to be change in the SOEs, in the manner in which they are being run, because currently they are vulnerable to being influenced, and as a result, that kind of interference really hinders the work of these SOEs.
And then, just to use a colloquial phrase that we use here in South Africa, Monday is likely to be lit, right?
It's going to be lit. Obviously, the Public Enterprises Minister, Pravin Gordhan, you know, his evidence has been postponed several times, and everyone has really been looking forward to what is it that he's going to say. I know that there was some leaked stuff about what he's going to say, but of course the judge has cautioned us that we can't be talking about something that is leaked without permission. So I'm not going to go there. Yeah. But of course, given the fact that he was the finance minister and then he was the public enterprises minister, he had a relationship with the former president, and then many people think he's in a unique position really to give this commission an insight into what was happening, particularly during his role as finance minister. Yeah. And of course, we understand he may touch on his meetings with the Gupta family, who you know that they also are at the center of the state capture. So what kind of interactions did they have? What discussions did they have? So all that will come to light. I think that's why Monday, as you have said, it will be lit.
All right. Well, we look forward to your reporting on that on Monday. Thanks very much, Mzwandile.